Welcome to my Newtopia. I'm Mara. Today is November 21st, 2016. I had VSG surgery on August 15th, 2016. My surgery was performed by Dr. David Newman of Central Carolina Surgery in Greensboro, North Carolina. My highest recorded weight was 300 pounds. My surgery date weight was 250 pounds. My weight today is 210 pounds, and my goal weight is between 140 and 180. So I have officially lost 40 pounds since my surgery and 70 pounds since the beginning of my journey to get weight loss surgery, which I count as June 1st, 2016. So this is Thanksgiving week, and I know that this can be a problem for a lot of people because we're used to eating, the turkey, the stuffing, the mashed potatoes, the sweet potatoes, the everything covered in candied whatever junk and desserts and everything. And just remember that you make the decisions for yourself. Don't let anybody talk you into something that you're not supposed to eat or more than you can eat. And just if you've already had the surgery and people are like, well, that's such a little amount of food, and you say, well, I can't eat anymore, otherwise I will get sick. And then I'll ruin Thanksgiving for everybody. Or, whatever snarky or polite answer that you prefer. Whatever. So this year my husband and I are having Thanksgiving at our house. A lot of years we just totally skip having Thanksgiving because we live away from our families, except for my mom lives in town here. So it's usually just the three of us, which it will probably be just the three of us this time as well. I invited some friends and neighbors, but it's not looking that good that anybody's going to be able to come because some people have previous obligations and some people have had surgery recently. Some people are going to be out of town, whatever. But we're going to do a turkey. My mom is bringing deviled eggs. We're going to have low-carb biscuits, charcuterie plate. I'm not quite sure how to say that. Meat and cheese plate with a little bit of pickled veg on the side. Carb-free chocolate cheesecake, or low carb anyway. And there's one more thing. Oh, Brussels sprouts with bacon. Yeah, so it should be a decent meal. It should be enough food for the three of us or more people if they come. And it should be extremely low in carbs because everything that I'm making has virtually no carbs. Almond flour and does have a little bit of carbs, but it's just going to be like in the crust of the cheesecake. Anyway, one of the best things to do if you have to go to a party is to make your own food and take it with you, because that way you will be guaranteed to have something that you know that you can eat. Plenty of recipes out there on the internet, Pinterest. I'm going to link my Pinterest page, my Pinterest low carb recipes and low carb desserts in the box below. So you can check that out if you're still looking for something, or you can just go on and look for low carb Thanksgiving, keto Thanksgiving, anything like that. And you can find low carb versions of almost everything. In fact, this morning I found a low carb version of sweet potato casserole. Sweet potatoes are not on my personal list for eating, but they might be on yours. They're still really good in fiber. They're low in sugar. They're just a little bit high for me at this stage of the game because I am only 14 weeks out today. So one thing that I talked about before, if you've been here before, is that I was having pain in my, right underneath my ribs on my right side and my left side, and starting last week I started having pain in the middle. So I'm assuming that's my stomach because that's where it feels like. It's right in, in the small point underneath your rib cage, right below the sternum. And so I decided that I would start taking some omeprazole, Prilosec, heartburn medication to see if that was the cause, because even though it doesn't feel like heartburn, I've had heartburn before. I've had heartburn for years previous to, this, and that usually is a burning sensation and whatever. This just feels like someone has taken a small knife and stabbed me in the stomach. Not really having any other pain, any other problems other than the pain, which is what waking me up at night like 6 to 12 hours after I've eaten, so I don't think it's food related. Directly food related. But I go see my surgeon on the 8th, so I'll bring it up then. If it gets worse before, I will contact my primary care or, see what I can do. My warning today is for those of you who have not gotten to this stage, do not take your vitamins on an empty stomach or with just a drink, like a coffee or a tea or water or whatever, because it can make you really sick when those vitamins hit your stomach. They can hit you strong. And last week I nearly had to pull over and throw up on the side of the road because I was like, oh, this is bad. So yeah, word of warning. The other thing is, real quick, was one of the things that I had heard about from multiple people was that I'm going to be really cold after the surgery. And now I've lost 70 pounds. And I am still I'm not cold most of the time, except for at night. During the day, when we have the heat on, we have it pretty cool. We have it in the upper 60s in the house because I believe that, well, if you're in the house, you can wear a sweatshirt. You can wear thick socks and comfortable clothes anyway, so why worry about, it being too cold? Because you can put a blanket over you. If people come over, I turn the heat up. My husband, who has burned out his thyroid when he had cancer years ago, always wants it a little bit warmer, and I made him this really, really thick ass blanket that has 2 layers of fleece, and then it has a layer of that silver sort of heating material, like they can put in sleeping bags and stuff. I sewed that for him a couple years ago for Christmas, and it was, I think, like 30 degrees outside. And like I said, it was like 65 in the house at the time because we were keeping it cooler during the day because he was not here and I like it cooler. Anyway, I had to take off my pants so in my underwear because the blanket was so freaking heavy and thick and hot. And I still can't even stand to be underneath it. But now at night, we still keep it in the low 60s, and I have started getting cold at night. Like my lower half I've just been having to put on an extra blanket at night until my husband comes to bed, and then somehow him being in bed makes it warm enough for me to be in bed without the extra blanket. So far that's it. I mean, it's in the 30s to 50s here now during the day, so it's cooler. And as I continue to lose more weight, maybe I will, get to that point. At this point, it's really looking like I'm going to be 200 or maybe even under 200 by the end of the year. So I guess we'll see if that happens. So one thing that I have never addressed, that I remember anyway, is why I decided to have weight loss surgery. Because I say that if you can lose weight, if you think you can lose weight without having weight loss surgery, do it. Don't have the surgery. I mean, honestly, it's not worth having the surgery if you really think you can lose the weight. And there's most people have dieted before. Most people who are thinking about this have at least attempted exercise or diet change or something. So here's why I had weight loss surgery. About a year ago, I had to have a surgery on one of my Achilles, on my tendon. I had to have surgery on both of them, but I had to wait a certain amount of time in between because that surgery, even though it was much shorter, it was only like 15 minutes and I was awake for the whole thing, so it's maybe more of a medical procedure. Well, anyway, had a much harder recovery than the weight loss surgery because I was completely bedridden for 2 weeks. If I got out of bed, I had to wear a walking cast. I couldn't put any weight on my foot. I had to have a little cart thing, wheelie thing underneath my knee to wheel me around. It was not at all fun. With the weight loss surgery, by the time I left the hospital, I was like taking Tylenol and that was no problem. But with the Achilles surgery, wasn't going to be good. I had to get a medical bed in downstairs because I couldn't climb the stairs. Anyway, bad situation. So October of last year, early November, that was when it was right before Thanksgiving. So probably right around this time, I was getting ready to my surgery was scheduled on my right Achilles. And, they went in and removed up to 40% of my Achilles with a little needle drill thing. So you can understand why it was bad, why the recovery was bad, because if I had put any weight, especially at 280 pounds, put any weight on my ankle without walking cast on, I could have completely ruptured my Achilles, and to replace the Achilles is a major surgery. Like, they have to, it's bad. It's worse than what I had. So right before I had getting ready to have my first surgery on my ankle, I started going blind in one of my eyes. What had happened was, years ago when I was a little kid, I had caught this disease that's very common in the Midwest, and it had caused scar tissue to form all over my inside of my body. And the scar tissue is still there in my eyes it's dormant. The disease is dormant. There's no problems. But a blood vessel had come up underneath a scar in my eye and was pushing up on the scar, had pushed up the scar, and so I was freely bleeding into my eye. And I went to my ophthalmologist, because I have one because of the disease, and they have to keep track to make sure that it's going to stay in dormancy. And it's been in dormancy for, something like 25, 30 years. So it's probably not going to come back, but it is possible to come back. Anyway, went to the doctor. The doctor said, so my doctor said, the disease has come back. You're going to completely go blind within 6 months. Nothing we can do about it. Have a good day. We'll call you later, was basically it. So I really didn't like that option. So I ended up going to a different doctor. Where I live, we have a lot of top hospitals. And that doctor says, your disease has not come back. It's actually this blood vessel, like I said. And you just have to have injections every month of chemo in your eye. And we will hopefully stop it within a few months. So I had 3 or 4 injections over time. And it stopped, and my vision actually got better in that eye. But, so imagine within the space, I knew that I was going to be having the ankle surgery, and I knew I was going to be bedridden, and I knew that I wasn't going to be able to do a lot for myself. I wasn't going to be able to lift stuff. I wasn't going to be able to carry stuff. I wasn't going to be able to, necessarily take a shower by myself. I wasn't going to be able to prepare food because I couldn't stand up. And then to find out that I was also losing my vision and could possibly go blind within 6 months. So here I am thinking, I'm 280 pounds. My husband's not going to be able to lift me, out of bed. He's not going to be able to, if I fall because I've gone blind and I've tripped over something, he's not going to be able to lift me off the ground necessarily. And if something goes wrong with my ankle surgery, then I will possibly be completely bedridden, maybe for the rest of my life. I mean, who knows? You never know with surgery, right? So that was when I really seriously started thinking about, well, maybe I should have weight loss surgery. I mean, it had been suggested to me by doctors and, over the years and stuff that I should maybe possibly look into it. Anyway, that's why I personally had the weight loss surgery, because I was looking at my long-term life possibilities and thinking, well, if I'm not going to be able to do anything for myself and my husband's going to have to take care of me, I should at least make it easier for him to take care of me. On the other hand, if I want to have a life, if I want to recover from the ankle surgery, and then I had a second ankle surgery at the end of February, on my other leg, and if my vision doesn't come back completely, well, then I still want to be able to do stuff for myself. I want to be able to walk around. I want to still be able to go out and enjoy life, and it would be so much easier if I weighed less. Plus, I was on medication that I've since gotten off of, and I was on a CPAP, and I want to travel, and carrying around a CPAP is kind of a pain during airports, going through airports and stuff, because they have to check it to make sure it's not a bomb. You get pulled out separately with security and all sorts of fun stuff. Well, now, as of last week, I am also off my CPAP. So I only have like regular maintenance medicine, like my vitamins and my calcium. I take a fish oil pill, stuff like that. I have Tylenol that I take if my back hurts, whatever, just normal stuff that most people take, or most people who have weight loss surgery have taken. So that's why I had surgery. It's different for every person. Sometimes there's a stressor, a breaking point like there was with me. Sometimes there's years of leading up to, I'm going to do this. I need to do this for myself. I need to do this for my family, whatever your choice is. But that's it for me. So, happy Thanksgiving to everyone. in the United States. And I look forward to talking to you soon. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, whatever, I'd love to hear from you. I would love to get together with people who live in my area of Raleigh, Durham, North Carolina, who have had the weight loss surgery or are thinking about having the weight loss surgery. So contact me. And I look forward to talking to you next week. So have a good one. Bye. Hi, I totally forgot that I was going to show you something that I made just a few minutes before I started my video, and it's just sort of silly and goofy, but here it is. I wanted a new wreath for my front door, so I made this. It took me about 15 minutes. In fact, the paint was still drying when I came over. It's this little purple squirrel, and there's a little lime green bunny, and I was thinking maybe of putting like Happy Holidays or something on the wood, but then I thought, well, actually this could be like a year-round wreath, because even though it has pine trees on it, it's not like they're exactly Christmas colors with all the pinks and purples and lime greens and stuff. Anyway, bye.